This is a show by a Black creative having conversations with other Black creatives about the creative stuff we create. Welcome to By Black Design. Welcome to this episode of By Black Design. I am your host, Nicole Denise, and here on By Black Design, we highlight all things created, curated, and powered by Black design. So, the first guest we have today, oh my goodness. Today's guest is a Haitian American visual artist, curator, poet, animator, cartoonist, award-winning international filmmaker, and director. His work has been featured in several Art Basel exhibits and have found permanent residence in the homes of Dr. Michael Eric Dyson, Senator Cory Booker, recording artist Jill Scott, the late XXXTentacion, spelling bee champion Zyla Avant-Garde, and media mogul Nicole Denise. He is the founder of Exhibit Trill, creator of Trill Tunes, and most recently, he was nominated for a 53rd annual NAACP Image Award for Outstanding Animated Series. Please welcome my guest, Jason JaFLEU Fleurant. Did I say Fleurant? Is it Fleurant?
Yeah.
Fleurant. All right.
You know what helped you? Because you said the JaFLEU thing, so let you just...
Fleurant.
Yeah.
Gotcha. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Yeah.
We got it together.
Yeah.
You know, a few hiccups, but we got it together.
Black excellence.
Exactly. So, like I said, powered by Black Design is just talking. I got the idea because I was talking to some of my creative brethren, sistren, over the this past year, 2021, 2022, and I found that a lot of us were burnt out. And I was like, but a lot of us are getting back on the wagon.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, what happened? And we all had kind of similarities. So I said, well, I need to share this with other people about like what the Black creative basically goes through when we're creating our art, when we're sharing our art, when we're being vulnerable or we're going through things. Like for me, if I'm in a depressive mode, I can't create. And then my work suffers from that. Yeah. But anyway, so I wanted to get other people's ideas and, insights on just the creative journey. So I kind of want to go back to little Jason. You want me to call you JaFLEU? Jason, what you want me to call you?
JaFLEU is good.
Okay, so I want to go back to little JaFLEU. As early as you can remember, when did you know you were a creative or a creative person?
Ever since I could remember, I've been popping my collar. Let's see. When did I want
like your earliest memory.
My earliest memories are, I can't put the age on it. I know I wasn't in school, or I had to be like kindergarten, but it was around the time. Yeah, I had to be like 5 because we just moved to Florida. Mm-hmm. My mom would be in the kitchen cooking, and I would be sitting on the counter watching TV, like watching cartoons like Tom and Jerry, and I would literally just be drawing naturally for no reason, just drawing while I was sitting on TV. So that would be ever since, let's say at least 5, because that's really the first time memories I have of actually being any form of creative.
Okay, so your medium of choice has always been sketching or drawing, or okay.
Yeah, it's always been naturally doing that.
Wow. Okay. So, were your parents behind this, or like how did you start?
No, from my memory, I just kind of picked it up one day. Just started drawing what I was like. I guess I just naturally gravitated to it because I've always liked cartoons and animation. Okay. So I think I just naturally just wanted to draw what I was seeing. Because I just like even if I was reading books as I got older, I would draw what I was reading, like draw it out. So it's just naturally always been to touch a pencil and just move it. Okay.
So let's move a little bit more in your age progression. So you said that was around 5. Yeah. What would you say around 15? Who was JaFLEU then? Creatively and just in general?
15, let's see.
That's a pivotal year.
Yeah, what is 15?
Middle school? 13. So if you start high school 14. Okay. So it's probably like your end of your freshman going into your sophomore year.
That point, then I wasn't doing any form of creative art. All that stuff was bundled because like I had just had the experience my freshman year where I had took an art class for like 2 days, and the art teacher was like irking me because it was like everything I did. It was like me and 2 other black girls, and there was nothing but other white kids, and everything I did, he was harping on me, and it's like I don't want to do this.
Harping on you how?
Like it was like I couldn't walk into the classroom without being picked on by him. If I drew something, this is not the right way to do it. And it's like, fam, what do you want from me? But like the same, the kids in front of me, the white kids would do the same thing, and he wouldn't say nothing. So it made me not want to do art at all. And then I had an experience where a guy who was my friend, he worked at the school newspaper, and he seen this Iverson drawing that I did, and he was like, "Yo, I'll put that in the paper for you." I'm like, "All right, cool." And then when the paper came out, it was under his name, and I was like, "Well, I don't want to do this. If first off, I don't see black people make art. If this is how like I get treated doing this stuff, I don't want to do this." So at that point, I cold turkey quit till like whenever the earthquakes in Haiti happened, and that was 2010. So I had all that bundled up energy, which probably explains why I went on such a crazy run ever since.
Okay, so I hear. Okay, so basically your art and your creativity got stifled because of school.
Yeah.
Or who you met in school, the cartoon
Yeah.
characters we'll call them. That you met in school. But what about your family? Was your family like supportive or behind your artistic?
There was nothing like, cause I don't think let's see, like they were cool. I mean, we're Haitian, so it's like there was never anyone that said anything against it. The most memory I have of everyone being actively pushing towards something is when I had applied for the School of Arts in middle school to go to high school. And they were like, it was my cousin, she was like really active on, yeah, you should do it, you should go for it. And when I got that rejection letter, I think everybody was just like, okay, we're not going to bother you with that. You do art how you feel to do it. No one really ever bothered.
You got a rejection letter from the art school?
Yeah, oh man, that hurt.
So you got a rejection letter from the art school. This was high school?
Yeah, this going to high school because I was applying for my freshman year to go to high school there.
Oh, okay.
So those things all compiled.
And then coupled with the
my
teacher.
freshman year, yeah.
Oh.
And so all that just made me go, I don't want to do this anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what?
Open back.
What was the rebirth? What made you get back into it?
The earthquakes in Haiti.
Okay.
Yeah, like I actually started rapping when I was like 18, so I think that gave me a little of creative leeway, and that actually moved me more towards poetry.
Okay.
But picking back art, it didn't happen until like the earthquakes in Haiti happened. Literally that day when I started seeing what I was seeing on TV, it just triggered something. That I guess that natural feeling to pick up a pencil. Mm-hmm. And I just started picking up a pencil and drawing what I was seeing, and
you were drawing scenes from
Haiti? The images that I was seeing.
Wow.
I just kept drawing them. So I guess being kind of a reporter with my art has always been a thing too. Because that's always been like a thing with my art, of telling stories and telling our stories. Okay. But like, I kept drawing those things, and like my friends, like Jonathan, as I would post them on Facebook, they were like, "Yo, you should try painting on a canvas." And then,
when you were doing the images of Haiti, what were you using? What was the medium you were using?
I was using pencils, colored pencils.
Okay, you were sketching.
Yeah, I was using colored pencils, and then eventually I went to Walgreens and got like the little watercolor paint. Mm-hmm. And I just started messing with that.
On just regular paper or canvas?
Yeah, on just because I don't know nothing about,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm teaching myself. Like, I only had an art class for like 2 days.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And then your way of just sharing it, you said, was via Facebook?
Yeah, I just kept sticking it on Facebook, which is another great, cool thing. Like, I know that, everybody has that love-hate relationship with Facebook. I notoriously do because, comments and all that as well.
We're going to get into that later on. Yeah. Let's not jump ahead.
Yeah, but the cool thing is, like, my entire career, you literally can go through my Facebook and from the beginning, from the first drawing to where we are to when this comes out, the whole career is right there.
It's like a time capsule.
Yeah.
So it's documented. That's what I love about social media, really. I know people, like you said, it could be good or evil, but I love it for just the documentation. That's why I vlog my life. That's why. So I can go back and be like, "Oh, Nicole, you kind of had it together when you didn't think you had it together." I think us
creators look at it differently.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I stumbled on I have a whole secret YouTube channel where I used to do little vlogs for myself. Mm-hmm. And I stumbled on it, and I started looking back at older stuff, and I'm like, wow, man, okay, you weren't lost. You weren't that lost. You knew where you were going. You just didn't know you were going.
Here's a quote that I live by. I don't know who said it. I just saw it on something.
It was me.
I live by. But everybody who wanders is not lost.
I like that.
Everybody who wanders isn't lost.
I'm a wanderer.
I'm a wanderer.
I like that.
I was just talking to my therapist saying I'm a nomad. Like, I like to get up and go. I feel energized when I'm in different spaces. Yeah. And then I get bored being somewhere, too long. And then other people would say she's unstable or she's not rooted in a certain area, because it goes against societal norms. But I'm like, this is where I feel most powerful and energized. So, yeah. So I want you to kind of take us through if there is a structure, but I want you to kind of take us through like what your creative process is. Like when you have this idea, so your ideation stage, all the way to the physical creation stage, what does that look like for you? Do you have a process?
I was just gonna say, do I? I literally was like, do I have a process? Not. There's no like. There's never intentional. Like, okay, I'm gonna set these candles out and burn them, and like I know a lot of people think that I do that because like there's not like a lot of people think, not particularly the candles, but I think a lot of people think
that there's this ritual that you do.
Yeah, because over the years people always seem to act as if there's some. No, I just it's I guess the same sense of if you're clocking in to work, I just sit there and like, all right, let's do this.
But do you, what's the word like, intentionally, like, I'm going to create art right now?
No. At least not in those, like, not in the sense of back then when I was a painter, I would just, like, what's the word? Well, I guess yes. In the sense, I would go like, okay, I'm going to paint today or something like that, and I would just take the canvases and just go into it.
You would just start painting, or did you have an idea? I just dive into it. Idea? Okay.
No, yeah, I just generally dive into things and just let my like. It's always felt like a out of body experience in a sense because it's just like half the time if I didn't document what I was doing, half the time I don't even know how I did it. Like it's when people will be like, "Can you teach me how to animate?" I really don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just going off energy. There's something else that takes over. But like I do intentionally know, like I know that I'm going to animate right now. I know that I'm going to paint right now. And sometimes it just happens. Sometimes I'll just be chilling and there's a paper there and but there's
Do you have a name for that something else that takes over, or because some people say God, some people say my higher self.
Yeah, I would go with that.
Say,
I would say that's when God kicks in inspiration.
I'm a vessel, or it's just different names for. Other people say this is when I connect to my Zen. It's just different names. So I'm just wondering as a creative.
That's probably when JaFLEU kicks in versus being Jason. Because I've always thought of that, like the creative, more expressive. Because Jason is really, he's antisocial. He don't want to, he don't want to do none of this stuff, let alone be on a stage performing. I just wants to, relax. Gotcha. Whereas there's that other thing in me that's like the Hulk that has to come out and just push through all of that. So I would say, yeah, if I'm going to.
So JaFLEU is creating.
Yeah, JaFLEU is the creative person, the person that you're talking to now. Okay. Versus Jason's the lay back. I don't know how any of this happened. Like if the Hulk just smashes something, David Banner is like, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. Or Bruce Banner.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So speaking of those two people, I have a question for you because what I found is that when I talked to a lot of creatives, they often ran into this thing that would halt their creativity or something they felt like they had to fight through. Like, so for a writer, people call it writer's block. Mm-hmm. People call it creative block, And specifically, Stephen Pressfield, I don't know if you're familiar with any of his books, but he has a few favorite books of mine called Do the Work and The War of Art. And he talks about very good books, especially if you're an artist. Or creative anytime. Just as a person, read it. But yes, he calls that thing resistance. And it's like, anytime you sit down and you say intentionally that, or you have this idea, or you have this unction, or you have this urge, or this desire, whatever you want to call it, to create anything, whether it be a book, whether it be a painting, whether it be an animation, there's something that also, this counter force that arises to be like, but no, I'm hungry, or no, I don't want to do this, or no, I ain't good enough, or no, whatever your resistance sounds like. Whatever it sounds like. Have you ever met resistance, just using that name, unless you have another name for it? And if you have, how do you surpass that or deal with it?
Yes, I call it Jason.
Jason. So Jason is fighting JaFLEU?
All the time. Jason does not believe. Okay. Jason has very strong imposter syndrome. Like, it's very real. So, like, when I get to starting when I'm going to create, it's a battle because it's like, man, it's not going to look like anything like you did last time. It's like, fam, no one cares anyway. You really shouldn't do it. And then the other part of me is just sits there and just like, pick up the pencil and just go. Mm-hmm. And then,
So how can you ensure that JaFLEU is going to win over Jason? Or does Jason sometimes triumph?
Jason sometimes triumphs.
Okay.
Not very often. Not very often. He gets it every once in a blue moon, but for the most part, it's the bigger personality is the mission. It's the idea of the mission of it's bigger than me, like especially now with the animations and stuff. But it's always been the mindset of, like, when I was just painting, it was the mindset of you're doing this to honor your ancestors and everybody who passed. Mm-hmm. So you can't just, not do it. Now it's the bigger overall mission of you're here to, I guess, still honor your ancestors, but you share these stories and people are counting on these things from you. And so it's just always the bigger mission is what pushes me to go ahead and do the next thing.
Okay.
Versus, well, Jason wins a lot, especially with interviews. Jason, like, nah, I ain't doing
Listen, Jason didn't win today because
He did not.
JaFLEU is here and I'm excited about it. That perfectly goes into my next question. How does culture, race, and or spirituality inform your creative work?
It's like the ground root of all of it. Like, at the end of the day, like, yeah, it is who I am. It is because the whole essence of myself as a creative is to always big us up, to like, fill in that void that I don't think is addressed enough, that is shown enough. Like, especially growing up, like looking in the art field, like I said earlier, I didn't feel like black people even made art. And now feeling like
That's a huge statement.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if it wasn't for literally my only source of understanding that black people made art growing up was Good Times. And you know what I mean? And I didn't even, you know what I'm saying?
No knock to the actors, no knock to that, but that's a horrible representation.
Yeah, and
that is not no Good Times they was representing.
They were not good. Those were bad at times, but that was my only kind of So it's like the idea of there's so many amazing stories, and like we have to someone's got to represent for us. If because if not me, then who? It's kind of that mindset. It's like next man step up. So it's like I just have to I felt like I just have to do that, and like I don't back down to like white ideas and white spaces of what black creative is supposed to be, because it's like, nah, you're gonna label me black anyway, so I might as well do it 100% black excellence.
And everything over here is blackity black, aka Issa Rae. I'm voting for everybody, or I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Period. Like, I don't even do that whole color. What do they call it? People of color. No, black people. I love y'all. Listen, don't get me wrong. I love my people of color. I love all shades of brown, my Hispanics, my Latinx, my people from everywhere. But black people, I love us. I love us, period. So also, too, I wanted to know, is there, considering culture, race, spirituality, all those things, is there a through line or theme or motif in your creative works? Like, does anything string all of them together? I
think, the beauty and the mundane of being black.
Mundane of being black.
Yeah, because like some of my favorite paintings or pieces of art I've ever made is just something as simple as a black person just sitting down. Mm-hmm. It's just like our lives we just radiate beauty, and I just I want you to know that your every moment is beautiful. Just chilling, the mundane, there's beauty in that, and so I want you to understand.
Just regular black life.
Yeah, just being black. It's from whether it's a spectacular thing that happened historically or just just chilling. It's just beautiful being black.
Right.
Yeah. So I think.
Click that space bar for me, please. Yes, thank you.
No problem.
Sure. But yes, I want to kind of expound on that because I have 2 of your pieces that I absolutely love, and I think it's just that. Like I have one of a girl sitting reading a book, or is she journaling? She's doing one or the other. I think she's reading. But anyway, it resonated with me because I'm like, I'm her. Like I'm the word nerd, the book nerd who's always been sitting with a book. And then the other one was with a couple, a man and a guy, just showing like black love, but not like that over sexualized.
It's just being normal,
dramatic. Yeah. That's like pursued or portrayed to us in the media, but like I love that, just normal black life.
Yeah, because sorry to interrupt you, but that's what we see with art in general, but from white perspective. Even black artists are forced to paint white perspective of the beauty of just being white. Right. So, it's like, show you the beauty of just being black.
And I think what mainstream media does to black life is that it's extreme. It's either extremely violent or extremely sexual or extreme. Like, it's just extreme. There's nothing nuanced. There's nothing in the middle. Like, we're just regular people, too. Like, we just living life. We just doing regular shit. Like, we just... That's why I got into Queen Sugar when it came out. And people called it boring, but I was just like, it's just regular folks.
Slice of life.
Yeah. It's just that sector of people in that sector of the nation, this is how they live. This is how they get their money. And it's just it showed black people in just a regular way to me. Because, like, I could never get into what was popular. So your scandals and your empires and your all that kind of stuff. I was just like, I don't want to call it a caricature, but it was just too extreme. Like I said, it just lived in those extremes, and I just feel like the beauty is in the nuance, it's in the middle.
I find that a lot with creatives, like black creatives, about stuff like that. It's like we just want slice of life things. Like that's why we'll sit there and listen to a podcast versus watching Scandal or like that. Not those because I watch it. Yeah. I don't own a TV. I have my phone.
I did it for a very long time.
Yeah.
I probably had a TV for 2 years.
Yeah, ever since Lot 23, I haven't owned a TV. Yeah, it's everything's like my phone. But yeah.
So, this next question, I call it simple but loaded. It's a simple question. But it could be loaded because it could mean a whole bunch of things. So, do you create for yourself or others?
Both. I think, mostly myself in the sense that, like, I'm not trying to make things so that other people buy it or so other people will enjoy it. I have to make it because I enjoy it, because it's something that I want to see, but also for others because I want you to love. Everything boils back to Nina Simone's saying, "Let's do everything from the heart and do it good." Mm-hmm. That's the credence that I go by. So it's like I do everything from my heart, because this is what I want to do. And I'm just sharing you my heart, and I hope that you love it.
Okay.
So it's both in a sense.
Okay, I like that. Yeah. So, I don't know if I made this up or I heard this and I just, because sometimes stuff resonates with you and you just take it as your own.
All the time.
But somebody told me, or I heard this, or I read this, that the process is for the artist, but the actual creation that we create is then for the people.
Yeah.
So what the people are going to do with it.
They're going to, Once it's there, once it's out there, it's there.
But that process is for you. So that's for JaFLEU getting to express himself how he wants to, and then Jason even seeing like, oh, I can be bold and confident in this area. So public opinion. Public opinion. Because recently I saw that you deactivated your comments.
Yeah.
I get it. From a creative, listen, I'm all about a hard boundary. I'm all for it. Boom.
All about it.
You can't come here. But public opinion, when it comes to sharing your art, how do you feel about it? Just sharing in general.
I feel like people's opinions aren't what's the word I'm looking for? Don't matter to me, but aren't my business. It's just not my business. Okay. Like at the end of the day, so it's like you can love or hate whatever I created. Mm-hmm. It's none of my business because either way I'm going to create it.
Okay.
As long as I don't step across a boundary that offends people, then whatever you feel is however you feel. But I don't have to hear it.
Gotcha.
Right? Like you don't have to because it's like, especially with the internet. I forgot who said that, but someone said, like, you're just a phone bill away from not having an opinion. And I forgot who said that. But it's like, why would I let somebody who I'm never going to meet, or if I log off and decide to take this app off, I'll never interact with, right?
Right.
Why should their opinion bother me from doing what I'm doing? Especially when what I'm doing is really affecting real people. Like,
right.
Like, so yeah.
Okay. So on the flip side, public opinion, when it's positive, is a wonderful thing for you.
No, yes and no, because I don't really like, I don't really like people's feelings and emotions on me. Like, I feel like, I was like, whatever you feel, even with dating, it's like, that's what I'm saying. It was like, if you like me, it's none of my business. I don't really
like me, it's none of my business.
It's none of my business. Whatever you feel is none of my business. Keep it to yourself. I don't really
want nobody to like you and date you.
No.
Is this Jason talking or JaFLEU talking?
It's both. It's like we get to stay in that zone.
That's another episode. We gonna bring him back for dating stuff. Right now, we just talking about creativity.
But yeah, it's just like, it gets, because other people's energy can get like so overwhelming. So it's like, because like they'll be like over positive, like, oh my God, you're so incredible. And it's like, I don't really want to hear. I'm just human. And now you put me on a pedestal that I do not, because like I know we've seen how that movie goes. Yeah. We see how people fall off of that. Don't put me somewhere that I don't need to be. I'm just really just a regular person. So that's more so a reason why I cut everything off too. Really? It was more that than the negative, because I've dealt with negative all my life. But the extra being positive is like, don't give me this false sense of you know what I'm saying? Because let's not create this image that's not real.
Yeah, I think it was Jill Scott. I believe it was Jill Scott. Well, she talked about the kind of like just craziness of celebrity.
Yeah.
And how she would, I think it was Jill Scott, and I think Amanda Seales talked about Jill Scott. If not, I'll make a correction.
Yeah.
But she talked about that very thing. She was just like, I am a human, and if I don't want to take pictures, I'm not going to take pictures. Or when I make mistakes, I make mistakes. Like, I'm allowed to have my human experience as well without you thinking because I'm a celebrity that I'm something different from you. You get what I'm saying? Even that whole, like, because you consider me a celebrity, now you have access to all things that are me.
Yeah.
That was the issue there. And I was just like, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've never, like, truly, honestly, I can't think of one person where I'm like, I would be, oh my God, this is the person. I would not fangirl for anybody because I've always seen people as people.
Yeah.
They just happen to have a different job. So, yeah. Celebrity culture is very scary.
Really weird. People change really quick. Like, when that nom happened, like, it actually, every time I've had an award or anything happen, people, like, change really dramatically. And it's like, fam, you didn't see the message that you sent me 2 months ago? Like, that's really right there. I'm just literally the same person. What are we doing here? Like, you know, and I don't like that, especially, and I'm older now. Okay. I'm getting closer to 40. So, like, I'm really in that, I know what I like. I know what I don't like. I'm not doing that.
Your way, like the old people say.
Exactly. I'm getting to that point. Like, I chill on my porch and,
Exactly.
So it's like, this energy is like, if I was in the 20s, you probably could have played with me. No, I watched too many documentaries at this point. We're not playing this game.
So, question. This is my last question before we get into our another segment.
Oh, okay.
So, in thinking about all the things that you've ever created, so from all the mediums that you created, is there something that you hated but the public loved?
All of
think
it.
of it? All of it? What are you, who talking? Jason or JaFLEU? Because I got to make that distinction.
No, it is both because there's all of it. I hate everything I've made after I've made it. Because I never, you know what I mean? Like, I never go back and watch or look at artwork that I've done, or I just always see the next thing. So, like, but blatantly, straight up, like, oh, I hate this thing and people love it. Yeah, I'm sure. I can't think of anything particular. Okay. But there's definitely had been, like, at least with painting, there's had been a couple where I was like, I don't like this, and I put it out, and people were like, oh my God, actually, the most recent one was like sometime last year when the Isley Brothers were in Versus. I did a painting, and I hated how it turned out. And then it also rained when I was painting it, so it just looked terrible. And people actually were like, oh my God, this is so amazing. I'm like, so, yeah.
But the creative is never satisfied.
Never. That's why
we just have to put it into it. We just got to say stop.
It's done, and I walked away.
Exactly.
Like, there's a Leonardo da Vinci quote that said, art is never finished. Like, Korea's art is never finished. It's just simply abandoned. Like, at some point, we just go like, because you can always, like you said, you always listen to your old stuff, watch your old stuff, and you can always see where you could have improved. And it's like, you just got to get to a point where it's like, all right, I'm done, move on.
Woosah. To all us creators. So, we're going to get into this segment that I call Dope Quotes. Dope Quotes.
Oh.
Okay, I love a quote. I'm a word nerd.
I love quotes.
So, I have 2 quotes that I'm going to share with you, then ask you a question about those quotes. Okay? So, the first one is from a great philosopher and poet that I like to call Trick Daddy Dog. Okay? And his quote was, and I quote, "You ain't got to give me my props or nominate me because, damn it, I love this." End quotes. Okay? So, what is your stance on awards or highly regarded public recognition since you are an NAACP nominated animator and director? Okay. Yeah, what's your stance on awards?
They're cool. I got quite a few of them now. Like, they're like, they're like, when early on, I didn't understand what awards meant. Like, growing up, other than the fact that, like, I would want to get one of those one day, but then I got to the point where it's like, who really needs awards? It's about, just doing the work. But then I started, like, as you start to get them, or you start to realize how much value they have when you're trying to get, like, other things to work. So, like, I understand the significance of them, but they don't dictate me. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I had no, like, if they didn't nominate me for NAACP Image Awards, I'd still would be making Chiltons. All right. So, but the fact that they did gives you that added bonus, added sense of pride in what you're doing. And like, all right, so it does matter in a bigger scale. Somebody in a bigger realm seeing that it was worth it. What you're doing, but it don't move me.
It doesn't move you, but I like what you said because it kind of can get the ball rolling.
It puts
areas.
You can leverage
people
it.
hold it in high regard.
It's leverage, and it's like, okay, especially for us creators, we need to find the leverage that we need. So it's like, oh, that's hella leverage I can use. When you can start saying, multiple award-winning nominations, and people, oh, you have my attention.
Yeah, and maybe they'll be like, oh, maybe he is somebody.
Yeah.
You know,
and
you
then,
know you somebody,
yeah.
but maybe then they'll start to,
Yeah,
I like
because
that.
damn it,
Okay.
I love this. My pencil different. I know I'm dope.
My
It's like-
pencil different. Yes,
Like,
that's your quote. I like
yeah.
that. Your pencil different. Okay. So the next quote I have is from the mother of poetry and neo soul artist Erykah Badu. Now she said this when she was testing out a new song. Everybody, most creatives know this one because we like to quote this one.
Yeah.
She was testing out a new song that went on to be Tyrone. Everybody knows that song, one of her biggest ones. And she said, "Keep in mind, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit." So how sensitive are you, if at all, when it comes to your creativity and your art?
The final product, not so much. The process, yeah, like anything within the process of it, like I'm very sensitive about. Like, as I don't like to make people's energy on my stuff. So when people come and be like, "You should do this to it," and like, no, shut up. It's just like
try to give you input on what you.
It be people who don't do nothing that have to do with any form of art. They'd be like, "Oh man, let me tell you, the moment I got nominated, suddenly everybody was an animator and a director and knew what I should be doing." It's like, do you even watch what I'm doing to be telling me? But like, no, it's like, man, I got here because it's my art. It's just my art. Don't tell me how to make my art. Don't tell me I should use red instead of yellow. Don't tell me, just mind your business and let me do what I do. You know what I'm saying? I don't come in your house and tell you how to breathe.
The audacity. I just want to know where people buy it from sometimes.
I be trying to figure it out
like, cause
myself.
I'm like, y'all got a lot of it, like in surplus.
Oh my God.
Like, I just like it's overflowing, overwhelming, and then I think also social media. I don't want to say I don't think I can come off as a conspiracy theorist in a lot of ways sometimes. But I don't think that we're supposed to be as connected as we are.
No, we're not.
And not as quickly.
Yeah, we're not. We are not. We are not. We're old enough to remember the days when, like, even when we had social media, you couldn't get in contact with somebody like that.
Right.
You had to go through the proper channels and stuff.
Right.
Like, it's different. It's one thing for you to hit me up directly in a messenger and be like, "Hey, you want to do an interview?" We have that relationship.
We built the rapport, though.
Versus, like, some complete stranger. Like, I don't...
Right.
Send it to the email.
Exactly. But it's just like... And I say that to say because then you open... People feel like their opinion is fact.
Yeah.
Or their opinion is even deeper than that, true. And
or valid.
Or valid. Or want to be... Like, I just feel like a lot of stuff should just be your thoughts. But because we now have this access where we could just like, I'm thinking this.
Yeah.
Do. People then can just insert themselves where they don't need to be inserted, especially in your personalized, sensitive, creative process. Like, hush.
I would never... I love Jay-Z. He's my favorite rapper. I would never tell Jay-Z anything about how he raps, ever. I don't even... When he started Twitter, I don't even follow it. I would never want to meet Jay-Z. Honestly, it's one of my favorite... Like, I don't want to meet people that I admire. I don't want to meet Stevie Wonder. Like, I love those people. I just want them to do what they do, and I'd be over here and be a fan. And it's like, people forget that. It's like, yo, just be a fan.
And a lot of times, I feel like social media has jaded the creative just in general because it's like... Like, there's some of my favorite... I ain't gonna say no names, but there are some people that I really love. Like, their albums... Like, I'm a music nerd.
Yeah.
Their albums, like, the soundtracks are parts of my life.
Yeah.
Like, in college, it was one particular artist, a rapper. His albums were the soundtrack of my college experience. And then he got social media, and I realized that he was ass.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I just want you to shut up and make music.
I just want you to make...
I don't want you... I don't want to know you. I just want to know
know
your music because now you're making me look at the music and my whole soundtrack and my memories are jaded because you
ruined everything now. Yeah. You ruined everything. Like, what's that saying where he's like, never meet your idols? I never want to meet anyone that I love. It's just like, I just want... Like, the only thing I want to know from you is... Like, again, we grew up in that era. We had to read a newspaper article.
Right. Or we had to wait till the magazine come out.
You know what I mean?
Or
we had to wait till your album come out to hear what you thought. Like, I don't want to... Like, that's one of the things I like, again, bringing it back to Jay-Z. When him and Beyonce were going through their stuff, Beyonce didn't do interviews. Jay-Z didn't do interviews. They made their album. And then they just backed up, like, this is where... And it's like, yo, that's all I need. I don't want to know your favorite
that's
color.
what you can have.
Yeah.
You can have this art. You cannot have me.
Yeah,
and
you
I'm
cannot
a big
have me.
stickler on that.
Exactly.
You can't have me. You can have this art though.
Exactly.
Had
I am
his
not
podcast episode.
I'm not a public person.
Yes.
Celeb. You know how they do like, what's that thing in their bios where like I'm a public
figure.
Yeah, I am not a public figure, bro. All my joints is private. Trill tunes. Yeah. But
Exactly. So to end this segment, do you have a dope quote that you live by and one that you can leave with us?
Yeah, Nina Simone one. Okay. Do everything from the heart and do it good.
And do it good. Y'all heard it here first. All right. So before we get into this last segment, which is just some rapid fire questions that I want you just to answer honestly.
Those are always dangerous.
You know, just because I may judge you. I'm not gonna lie. I may judge you on a few of them. You know, considering your answer. Oh. But I just wanted you to quickly touch on like what are you doing now as far as like your medium? Because I know you switched. You went from a drawer or a sketcher to a painter, and I keep hearing you say when I used to paint, like you're not doing anything.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't.
But I'm not I'm not trying to tell you. I'm not trying to insert myself where I don't need to belong, where I don't belong. But I know you painted because I have some of your paintings. I love your paintings, but I also know that you've gone over into this animation director track. So tell us what you're currently doing, and then what's next for you.
I can honestly tell you what's next. I have no idea. I'm a wanderer.
Hey, I get it, and we ain't gonna have it figured out because we won't have to have it figured out.
Yeah, like right now I'm just animating, editing and filming, directing, Trill Tunes episodes and exploring that, and that has kind of taken the place of just painting because like if I was working on a painting, I would be spending like 4 hours on one stagnant thing, whereas virtually now I can spend 8 hours doing like 20, 30, 40 paintings, right? In animation, yeah. Okay. So it's like, that takes, and my natural thing has always been drawing, so that actually, fills that artistic need for me.
So you're back to square one.
Yeah.
When you were almost.
Yeah.
When you just were writing. Well, it makes sense because you said as a 5-year-old you were sketching what you saw on TV.
I was watching on TV. Well, yeah.
And now you are.
Yeah, even like my mom would end up going and buying movies for me because she knew that, like, particularly animated movies, because she knew I was going to sit there and just draw out the movies and stuff.
So mom was on board.
Yeah. It's just like, that's what I was saying. It's like they never linked one way or the other, which is really interesting because they're Haitian.
That's why I was kind of, because I hear the opposite.
Yeah.
With Caribbean black parents, they're like, you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer.
Yeah, and it's never been, with even all three of my siblings, it's never really been a push to you can go. I remember one time, because when I was in middle school, I'm sorry to change the thing, but and I was playing basketball, and my father was like, hey, do you want to go to the NBA? And I was like, it's like, that's a jump. It's like, because if you want to, do your thing. It's like, but that's the most I've ever heard him push me anywhere. And it was just like, whatever they've never pushed us to go to school or anything. It was just like, I think they always knew with us is,
you're going to be who you're going to be.
You're going to be whoever you're going to be. Maybe they always just saw that, because, they see things, like, I see things with my nephews. Okay. And, like, I know that they're probably going to do these things without, they've never said anything. Right. So they probably saw that and were probably like, he's eventually going to go find his way there. We're just not going to push him. I don't know.
And I'll add a little cherry on top of that. I just feel like we all come here with our own instructions, our own, people like to call it purpose, our own life's work, whatever buzzwords you want to add onto it. But I just feel like we're already packaged, and yes, in our rudimentary years, we need actual help from adults to stay alive, literally. Yeah. But then after that, like, let us be. We'll figure it out. Yeah. We'll figure it out. And I know it don't have to go along with societal norms and structures and what you think I should do and people trying to live vicariously through you, but we'll figure it out eventually. So I'm all for that.
Well, that people living vicarious thing is
a hot mess.
Boy.
So what's next? Oh, you say you don't know what's next.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
You just there we go. But you're not lost.
Yeah, no, I'm not lost. Actually, really, maybe I can say something. What's next? I really want to. I'm just gonna really triple down, dominate in this animated space. Yes. Like in the same, like they shouldn't have left me in. Let me in the door, right? And I was like, oh, I'm in here now, and I got in here my way. Oh, now it's on.
And you gave me one of your awards.
Yeah, and you
or nominated for one of your awards. And what you got? Film festival awards.
Yeah, I got a bunch of those. Yeah. But the NAA one is like, because that's the.
Yeah.
And I've been watching that all my life, and it's like, and the category this is only the second year that category existed.
Oh wow.
So it was like, wait a minute. And okay. Yeah.
And then shout out the black platform that you're.
Queerly TV. Yeah. And being on Queerly TV, and it's like, wait, I get to be on a black platform that lets me be creative and do what I want to do, talk directly to black people all over, and I get to see the numbers. So it is like around. It's like, man, black excellence. I'm doing what I gotta do.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So, last segment of this show, just rapid fire questions, okay? Rapid fire round. So, I just ask that you answer them truthfully, honestly. Don't let them linger too long. Some may have you thinking a little bit longer, but okay. You ready?
All right.
First one: Windows or Apple?
Windows.
I'm
I've never touched the Apple before, so outside
you.
of touching, I've never used one, so I don't. Yeah.
I'm part of the Apple code. Yeah, unfortunately.
Well, actually, honestly, I was actually thinking about Windows and actual Apples. And I like looking outside, so I really was thinking about literally a window.
Okay.
I wasn't even thinking about it.
No, I got you. Android or iPhone?
Android, that's all I've had all my life.
And you don't never want to try iPhone?
I'm a simple man. I've had this exact Android for over 10 years.
Okay, I got you.
I'm one of those people.
I got you.
Yeah.
So, your first creative step, like when you're in the ideation phase, are you going pen to paper or straight to a device? So when you're animating, you going straight to the computer or whatever?
I'm going straight to the computer if I'm animating. Yeah, I'm just going straight and that's also kind of putting pen to paper because I guess pen to paper because.
No, I mean actual pen paper.
Yeah. Oh, if I have to write it, but
like sketching first, or are you going straight to the device and sketching on the device?
Yeah, which is purely artistic phase, not the having to write the script thing. Right?
Yeah, no, just your idea.
Yeah, straight to the device. Just like if I was going to paint, I'd just go straight to the canvas. I don't even really think about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Okay, music or silence when creating?
Music.
Music.
Music or podcast.
What's on your playlist?
A lot of stuff.
What's your main go-to?
Hove.
Hove? Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Who is your favorite creative?
Hove.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. 3 must-have tools
and
in
Stevie.
your...
Sorry.
Stevie Wonder?
Yeah.
3 must-have tools in your creative arsenal. Gotta have them.
A blunt.
Mm-hmm.
A blunt. A pencil and paper. Something to draw on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hear you. Favorite creativity enhancing snack? What you eating? If anything.
If any, when I'm creating, I don't eat anything. I just go
Okay.
hours and just doing it. Water.
Water?
Yeah.
Okay. Stay hydrated.
Afterwards,
What is the best advice you've ever received concerning your creativity, and who is it from?
Paul Fisher. Never wait to get your shit together.
Never wait to get your shit together.
Mm-hmm. And he's a popular, well-known art gallery person, and that has been my vibe ever since. He told me that in 2011 when I first ever met him. He was like, "Never wait to get your shit together," and I never have.
Okay.
Yeah.
And lastly, what do you want your creative legacy to be?
That I did it for the people.
You did it for the people.
I did it for the people.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first.
Damn.
Jason JaFLEU. I think you said you're talking to JaFLEU.
Yeah.
Okay. So JaFLEU has just finished this interview, and it's been a beautiful interview. Tell the people where they can find you, how they get in contact with you, how they can consume your art.
Oh, very easily. Watch TrillTunes.com.
All right.
Yeah.
That's it, people. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
All right.